Hi, it's Laura. I accessed this current issue of Popular Science on the library's virtual branch through Flipster. Today I'm using a 2018 Popular Science article by Benji Jones called How to Decode the Secret Language of Birds. I am going to excerpt this article for you, and as I do, as always, I'm going to show you library resources that you can borrow on birding or on bird songs. A little bird once told me, well, a lot. That twittering song isn't just the sound of relaxation, a sign of spring, or nature's alarm clock. It's a language that can convey valuable information to the trained ear, even when that ear belongs to a human. With each real-world chirp, cheep, and melody, the bird is sending a potent message. It might be a male's love poem designed to woo a comely female, or a show of strength, warning other birds to back off. Often that seemingly carefree song serves as an alarm call, indicating that a predator is on the prowl or a human is lumbering down the trail ahead. For millennia, wild critters have been listening into these messages, and for good reason. When a robin sees a predator, like a coyote for example, it will sound the alarm. Short, low, and high-pitched shrieks, and other prey like squirrels will heed that warning. But rodents aren't the only mammals to interpret a conversation between birds. For centuries, Native Americans have relied on so-called bird language to learn the whereabouts of people and other animals that would otherwise remain invisible to the human eye. A lot of indigenous people have been using bird language to know where mega predators are, says Pinar Ates Sinopoulos Lloyd, co-founder of Queer Nature, who leads courses on bird language. They are able to decipher how birds communicate and warn each other in the forest. Learning bird language isn't just a strategy once used to survive. According to Heather Durham, a bird language expert at Wilderness Awareness School, it's also a tool to establish a more intimate and enriching connection with nature. To notice and understand these sorts of dramas unfolding all around us at all times makes the world a far more interesting place. There's no Rosetta Stone for bird language, but anyone with finely tuned ears, keen observation skills, and plenty of patience can learn to translate songs into information. Here's a beginner's guide to learning the avian alphabet. Pick a perch. Start by finding a comfortable place outside. It could be your backyard, a nearby park, or even in your home by a window. Ideally, you'll want to settle down in a diverse habitat that's far from human disturbance. When you arrive at your perch, sit still for at least 20 minutes. This gives the animals time to get used to your presence. To get started, go out, sit down, and pay attention. Now that you're settled, look for common songbirds that forage or nest on the ground. They're more likely to detect predators on the forest floor and, as a result, have much more to say, according to John Young. Young also recommends that you choose species that stick to the same small territory year-round. That way you'll get to know birds in each season, noting how their behavior and calls change. Males of many species, for example, exhibit a wider repertoire of calls in the spring. Of course, not everyone is well-versed in the birds that fit all of these criteria, so Young listed a few birds that make great teaching subjects: American robins, juncos, song sparrows, catbirds, cardinals, and red-winged blackbirds. Distinguishing song is simple. Listen for rhythmic melodies like those of the American robin. These are especially easy to pick out in the early morning during spring when males are performing for prospective mates. You can get a clue as to whether a bird has found a mate by how much he's singing, says Ken Kaufman, field editor at Audubon magazine and longtime birder. If you have trouble identifying any particular song, check out a digital bird guide like Audubon's Guide to North American Birds. These typically feature songs as well as descriptions. This section of the article covers more, but it concludes, learning baseline calls will give you a glimpse into the world of songbirds and all its drama. Who's looking for love, who's angry with whom, and who's in a relationship. Listen for alarms. When birds detect a threat, Be it a crashed diving kite or a slithering serpent, they sound the alarm. As naturalists are learning, Durham says, each warning call may encode specific information about the threat, down to the species of predator. In her own backyard, she's noticed that sparrows and towhees sound a different alarm for the lazy, well-fed cat who couldn't be bothered to stalk anything than for the lean, scrappy, feral cat who subsisted mainly on birds, she says. Alarm calls require observation and patience to learn, but Young offers a few tips that quicken the process. Pick up a field guide to figure out which predators lurk near your perch. Keep an eye out for these falcons, snakes, foxes, and other beasts. If you find one stalking prey, then watch it and listen how birds respond. You can also listen for specific sounds that most alarm calls share. Often they're more harsh, unpleasant, or arresting than everyday bird calls. Not sure how to discern an agitated bird call from a calm one? We don't blame you. You can also try running a simple experiment. Once you've settled into your spot and the birds have resumed their normal chatter, have a friend walk towards you from a few hundred yards away. As the human approaches, listen and take note of how the birds respond. We are often a jarring, unaware presence in the world beyond the front door, Young wrote. If we're in bird language mode, however, we're moving with a whole different frame of mind and venturing into another realm of awareness and intention and curiosity. Durham would agree. For her, interpreting bird language allows me to visibly and audibly measure and adjust my impact on the natural world, she says. If I'm distracted and not tuned in, all wildlife around me is going to be long gone before I even step foot into the forest.